Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and I'm taking care of business. Joining me today is Tanya Eklund, a realtor with the Tanya Eklund Group and Remax Real Estate Central in Calgary. Thanks for joining us today, Tanya.
Thanks for having me, Mario.
Well, the April statistics for the MLS market came out just this week in Calgary, a record month for April in terms of sales. Inventory is down, prices are up. I wanted to look at two different segments of the real estate market, Tanya, and the advice that you're giving people. And let's start with the buyers. In this type of environment, what are you telling buyers these days?
Buyers have to act very quickly. When something comes up, they have to go look at it that day. They should be speaking to their bank or their mortgage broker to see if writing a financing condition is a must, or if they have the go-ahead to write one without, to be more competitive in their offers. We're having to have the discussion on home inspections. If there's 10 or 11 or 12 or 20 offers, is having a home inspection going to get you that home? And not having one, what are the consequences? And so having some very real discussions with our buyers in what buying looks like right now and how quickly things are moving.
All right, let's do the flip side and the sellers. What are you telling them in this environment?
Pricing is still key. We say you can't price a home too low, but you can price it too high, because if it's too low, the market will truly dictate what it's worth. And we've seen some homes that have been priced, quite low. And in my opinion, they've sold over what they would have sold had they priced higher. And so having those discussions with your sellers on timing on listing, do we list on a Friday and present offers on Sundays, what to expect? Now, the one thing I am seeing, Mario, is different price points, communities are garnishing different results. And so it's not a one shoe fits all based on the style of home, based on the community, and based on the price point. And so I think our sellers are hearing these stats, and many sellers are thinking that those stats apply to their home, but they may not. We are still seeing some homes sit. We are still seeing some price reductions.
Okay, super. When you look at this market right now and the demand, why do you think the demand is so high right now for real estate in the city?
A couple of reasons. Net migration is up, Mario. We're seeing a lot of people move, especially from out east. And so that's really putting a dent in our demand. It's not just local demand anymore like it has been for the last 5-6 years. We haven't seen net migration like this since the last oil boom in 2013 and 2014. So that's really affecting, or that's where a lot of our demand, I think, is coming from. The way that we live has evolved and changed because of the pandemic. People are wanting more space, they're wanting bigger yards, and so they're taking the opportunity to sell their duplex and buy a larger detached, more estate home. You have investors that are coming back into the market. So I have an investor that's buying 5 or 6 homes right now. He wasn't there 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So those are some of the reasons, and we may have some really kind of demand right now that is based on the interest rates going up. So some of those people really wanting to purchase while their rate is still on hold.
Now, we've had a low inventory environment for quite some time right now in Calgary, and it's still quite low right now. Months of supply are about, I think it was 1.4, so for people out there that don't understand that dynamic, the months of supply indicate how many months it would take to sell all the inventory given the current demand. So it's at 1.4, which is quite low. What are the consequences of this low inventory in the market overall?
Well, if we have increased or sustain, or the demand that we have, if it stays the same or gets greater, and we don't have the supply, then it's just going to continue to increase home prices. And so, I've been asked, well, are these interest rate hikes going to affect things? Is it going to slow down the market? Based on how many people I'm seeing moving here and how many people we still need to fill job positions, I don't see that the rate hikes are really going to affect things, because our demand is still so high. And a part of the reason our inventory is low is I'm talking with many colleagues and sellers who want to sell and list their homes. They are fearful of having nowhere to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust me, I know. I was in that situation years ago.
Well, there you go.
It can be a kind of a scary thought when you sell a home and then you realize that there isn't that much out there to buy.
That's right. And that's a real fear, especially with families. I mean, if you're a single person or a young couple with no kids, or you don't have kids, you'll just go to an Airbnb or a short-term rental for 30, 60, 90 days. But a lot of people upsizing our families, and they have to think about housing and schools. And so that's very daunting for them.
Yeah. What's hot right now in terms of the market? I'm presuming that the detached single family home segment is what people want.
That is our hottest market, and the stats would show that as well. I mean, year to date over last, we're up over 13% for detached homes. It's been leading the sector for many, many months now. And then we have the duplex and townhouse sector, which is just over 10 and 11% increase year to date over last. And then we have our apartment style sector, which is seeing an increase in price of just over 6% year to date over last. And so that's kind of how we're seeing it trend.
Okay. And what about neighborhoods? Anything pop out at you that people are looking for in neighborhoods these days?
Well, I primarily deal in the inner city beltline communities. And so what I'm seeing in those areas is just no inventory in the detached homes. And so I'm having clients like desperate say, hey, can you call this person that might live in this community that you know and see if they have any friends selling? And it's really hard. It's a really tight market in the inner city beltline communities for detached homes right now. They're just, especially in, I would say, the 800 to 2 million, which is kind of a wide range, but that market, there is just nothing available.
And let's talk about the upper market. What are you seeing there in the quote unquote luxury market, which is basically $1 million plus?
We have record-breaking sales this year for the luxury market. And a big part of that is, again, people, they want a larger home. They are going to be working maybe a hybrid three in the office, 2 at home, or vice versa. They want larger yards. They want a detached home versus being attached. And so that market is one of the tightest markets that I've experienced right now, is that 1 to 2, even 1 to 2.5 million in most of the inner city beltline communities. You're listing these luxury homes and they're gone within a matter of days.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, thanks again, Tanya, as always, for sharing your insights on the market.
My pleasure, Mario.
All right, that was Tanya Eklund, a realtor with the Tanya Eklund Group and with RE/MAX Real Estate Central in Calgary. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, taking care of business. Thanks for joining us today.